Very special guest that I have with me tonight. It's Jill Harper-Smith. She is the niece of Michele MacNeill. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
You're welcome.
Well, I just have to ask you, I know that you've been in the courtroom every single day. This has been, I'm sure, a very difficult thing for your family. How do you think the trial is going so far?
I think it's going good. Today, I think, was really paramount in having Dr. Perper and Dr. Cragen. You know, their testimonies together, I think, went really well. I mean, there's days that have been better than others, but I think overall, really good.
Now, none of the three experts have conclusively said that your aunt was murdered, that this was a homicide. How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, I'm not an expert and I'm not a scientist, but I know that people in their right mind can draw inferences and can draw their own conclusions. And, you know, we strongly believe that it was a homicide.
Now, when you say we strongly believe, are you talking about Alexis and her sisters and the rest of your family?
Yes, the family.
And why do you believe that Martin MacNeill murdered Michele MacNeill? What makes you believe that?
Well, I mean, there's lots of things, just knowing Martin and, you know, I mean, various different things, but, you know, I mean, when you have to keep up, you know, two different lives, you have to, I mean, it comes to a breaking point when you have to choose, and, you know, there was another way to go about it. Unfortunately, he chose to kill my Aunt Michele.
How well did you know Martin?
You know, he really wasn't very present in a lot of the family activities and things like that. He would just be in his office doing things. I was closer to my Aunt Michele.
Now, you know, we've been watching him, at least on television, in the courtroom. You've been able to watch him in the courtroom. What do you make of his demeanor? He seems just to be so cold in the courtroom. Is he like that?
That's how he is. Yes, and, you know, I mean, he gets up and shakes his attorney's hands and pours water and, you know, the whole 9 yards. But I've always felt that he was cold, and that's the way he's always been to me.
Did your aunt ever say anything about her relationship with Martin?
No, not to me.
And you said he's always been cold to you. What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, I know that he treats his, you know, kids and stuff a different way and other people a different way, but the typical relationship that a niece has with an aunt or uncle didn't exist with me and Martin.
Well, you know, how do you think Alexis and her sisters did on the stand? You must have been in the courtroom to support them for that.
I've been in court every day. I'm extremely proud of them. You know, none of us like being in the presence of Martin anyways, and to be able to be his daughter and be on stand looking him in the face after hearing, you know, and being questioned about how she was found and having to demonstrate that with the bathtub and everything like that, I can't imagine it. I would have fallen to pieces, and they held their own. They did not get pushed around, and I think that they did an outstanding job considering the circumstances.
And what would be justice for you and your family? What would be justice?
Well, ultimately, justice for us would be a guilty verdict for Martin, but we've been working on this as a family for 6 years, on working with investigators and everything, and to have it actually be a trial seems surreal to me. We're glad that it's gotten this far. We've done everything that we possibly can, and at this point in time, it's in the hands of the jury. So to some degree, we've reached a level in justice in saying, you know what, we've gotten it to this point, and whatever happens from here on out is up to the jury. But ultimately, we would, you know, obviously like to see a guilty verdict.